Hello again. I'm standing in a bus stop, not because I want to catch a bus, but because it's absolutely persisting it down with rain. But never mind, I'm off to meet Andi and we're going to try and track down the old St Albans to Hatfield line. I'm now at St Albans City Station and I'm going to go and meet up with Andi and walk down to St Albans Abbey. As we approach St Albans Abbey, on the fence to the right, this is a series of rather nice mosaics designed by local school children to commemorate historic events of St Albans. They were helped by artist Jane Visick. And now we have the gates to the station, including this rather nice ironwork showing the date the station opened, 1858. Fortunately, it didn't close in 2015. And now in the distance you can see a train approaching the station coming up from Watford Junction on the Abbey line, and just at the far end of the platform you might be able to see that the platform goes up a bit to enable easier access for buggies and pushchairs and that sort of thing. Hardly seems worth commenting on until you know that St Albans Abbey was only the second station in the UK to get one of these things that's known as the Harrington Hump. The line was originally intended to continue on northwards to Luton and Dunstable, but unfortunately those plans hit the buffers. So here's St Albans City Station where I first arrived, and down here is St Albans Abbey Station, and you really don't have to be a detective to see this line of trees snaking its way down between there and Hatfield. Goes a bit north here and then comes back into the main line down into Hatfield there. And if we switch on the lines, you can see the red one there is exactly following that line of trees. The yellow line is the route up from London, and the red line down here is the line from Hatfield into either King's Cross or Moorgate. So this looks like the main line, well, what is called a main line, but in reality is a single track. And down here is the St Alban Way. So just down from the last clip was a level crossing. This is the line down to Watford Junction, and somewhere just off the right, to the right there, something like 80 years ago, 1951 or 1964 it shut. There was a line coming off to the right there. So here we have the start of the Alban Way, also the start of the St Albans Green Ring. That road is the bridge we were looking over just now. So just ahead there's a bridge with cars going over it, and above that I think that's the bridge that carries the main line into St Albans City. And just to the left of that bridge is the old St Albans London Road station. Now by the looks of it turned into a nursery, but the awning with the sort of zigzag crenulations, I think they're called, above the centre of it might be a bit of a clue. The station opened in 1865 10 years before St Alban's city. It was known for much of its life just as St Alban's until about 1 year before it closed. There's this rather nice info board where you can crank the handle to get sound, and also this information board, although do note that St Alban's has now switched to the right. So we've now gone under the road bridge, and there is that really big railway arch we saw in the distance earlier. We've now arrived at the Salvation Army halt. This was a station initially built for people working in the Salvation Army printing works, which was nearby. The platform was built of sleepers, and you can still see quite a bit of those here just to the side of the path. It also served a nearby orchid growers, and there was a siding down to their greenhouse, and they used that to distribute their orchids around the world, which is a sentence I really wasn't expecting to be saying. The station opened in 1897, although it didn't actually appear in public timetables until 1929, but I guess everybody who needed it knew it was here. So there's a nice info board here with some of the information we just had, and this time the map is the right way round with St Albans on the left at the western side, and Hatfield in the east. Mentions there the war cry, which is the official organ of the Salvation Army. So if a long time ago you were ever handed one of those and thought, oh, not these again, it might well have been printed here. To the right here we have Hill End Garden of Rest. This was used as a cemetery for patients from the nearby mental institution. Nowadays there are various notices up showing things like apple juice, yoga, history of the park, and a map. Hill End opened in 1899 to serve the nearby mental hospital and had a 400-yard siding to deliver coal. Here we see the view from Marconi Instruments with the hospital water tower in the background, and there's the hospital before it was obliterated. It used to be used as St Bartholomew's teaching hospital and took in lots of injured soldiers during the Second World War. The line crossed Hill End Lane via a level crossing, and the gates can still be seen today. The line goes straight on past the Nicholas Breakspear School before reaching Colney Heath Lane Bridge. Sadly, on this bridge people have adorned it with a wide range of graffiti, hopefully not by students from the nearby school. A variety of industries moved to the area: a meat cold store, a scrap metal merchant, and various others. The area is named after the Butterwick Brook, which runs alongside the alignment. So we've just gone a little bit further down the path, and it takes a little bit of an S-bend off to the left, but through there I think we have Smallford. Smallford originally opened as Springfield in 1866, but was renamed 13 years later to be Smallford in 1879. It closed a bit later than a lot of the line in 1969, although it was closed to passengers in 1951. It was still used for moving around scrap from a local scrap yard. Another couple of 100 yards further down, you may be able to see in the distance there's a sort of arch going over the Alban Way. That is the Blackberry Arch, created by sculptor Diane McLean in the last decade. Let's go and have a closer look. You can find out more information about it on the Smallford Residents webpage. So comically, there are signs up saying look both up and down the line before you cross. Still got a sign up saying don't trespass on the railway, and it tells of the death of Ethel Violet Mason, sadly aged just 18. Another sign up there saying beware of trains. If you don't shut the gate, you could be fined 40 shillings, which is £2 in new money. We went decimal 50 years ago, so then it probably felt like a lot more money. So, not sure if you can see it or not, but up there on the left, just to the right of that sort of ball of hedge, the sign saying Nastide Halt. I think if we go a bit further down though, there's a load more to see. So this then is Nastide Halt. Hope I pronounced that right. A team of volunteers led by a local man called Mike Izzard raised money to help renovate this, and as you can see, they've done an absolutely fantastic job. Got some warning signs there to keep off the platform, although we do have a disclaimer saying proceed at your own risk, and I can't say I was planning on cycling on it, but there you go. Got an old luggage carrying trolley there, old-fashioned lamp there, and if we go a bit further down you can probably see the sign for Nastide Halt and another lamp. So there's one of the lamps, and just a bit further down, sorry about the wobbles, Nastide Halt. On this side we have a bit of a playing field, and attached to that tree there is a clock. Nastide Halt was opened in 1910 to serve some new housing in the area. Anecdotally, a local man, Oliver Berry, asked for it to be open so he could commute to King's Cross. If only we could just get a station opened at the end of our drive, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Closed it to passengers in 1951. This really is the best station on the line so far, quite easily. Please have tickets ready for inspection. Milk shirts. Sign saying platform 1 along with some lights. Well, one light and a bird box. Here's a notice book. They've even got their own Facebook group, and search for Nastide Halt Mike, who is Mike Izzard, who I was talking about just back there. And there's a bit of stuff showing the history of it. That's what it looked like early on, and then that picture on the right shows what it looks more like, what it looks like today. Great Northern Railway, mocked up probably, old poster. Interestingly enough, the name Oliver Berry, General Manager, is at the bottom. I wonder if that's a bit of a reference to the man I was talking about just now. And just to the east of where the Nastide Halt platform is, we have a bit of track, an old warning sign. Let's just drink in that track. It's rather gorgeous, in the old 4'8" 8.5" gauge, or well, current, but it's been the standard for quite a long time, at least in Britain. And just one final look back west towards Nastide Halt. Just across Ellenbrook Road from here is Crossing Keeper's Cottage, but if you turn left, After about a quarter of a mile, you'll notice that all the road names have an aviation theme. This is because the area, now occupied by Ellenbrook Park Run and also the Hartford University campus, used to be an aerodrome as well as an aircraft manufacturing plant. In fact, our next station, Lemsford Road Halt, was specifically built to convey workers to the plant, necessary during the Second World War. It moved here from Edgware. The alignment cuts across the housing estate and is interrupted by small side roads before coming to an absolute stop for now at a shopping centre. Andy and I decided to adjourn to the pub. So the Ruddy Great shopping centre kind of got in the way a bit there, but that is the Alban way, and it continues the other side of the road down here somewhere. Oh, I think we found it. Indeed we have. There you can see it goes on to Welwyn Garden City. This is the view back to where we've just come from, but on the left here in the undergrowth we've found a long section of concrete that we believe to be the platform for Lemsford Road Halt. This was a short-lived station, opening in 1942 and closing in 1951, mainly to transport the workers working in the nearby Havilland aircraft factory. So looking back towards the west, veering off from the path, there's kind of a dip here, and we just heard the trains in the background on the line that's running. I'm wondering if that used to be the curve. I suspect it was. It looks like that cutting goes through there, where right now it runs straight into a brick wall, but perhaps not 60 or 70 years ago. We're on the bridge looking down towards Hatfield, and that red brick block of flats is the other side where we were looking at the cutting just now. We think the line came through there. So we're just a few hundred metres further down the road. Over to the left there you can see a statue somewhere, and might well be Hatfield House. Great Northern pub, and if we keep going round you can see Hatfield Station, which marks the other end of the line. Bit of fun here, the northbound platform off to the left is offset from the southbound platform, and they don't seem to overlap at all. I'm speculating a bit here, but I think the trains along the St Albans to Hatfield line probably either ran from platform 3, or there might have been another platform further over where the white vans are now.